Yeah, it's not set. That should turn it on. Okay. Let's try that.
No, we're there. Maybe.
Have to give it a minute here because it's a little behind. Great, Taryn's watching. Cool. Yeah, it's not set. Okay, now I'm gonna quiet my phone. Great. It looks like all the technical things are worked out. The start of the new year and another WCN Live. Well, welcome back, everyone, and Happy New Year. You are joining us here live from the Wilson County News Break Room. My name is Kristen Weaver. I am Director of Operations, and today my guests are...
My name is Pam Smith. I work in the advertising department, and I'm a big Elvis fan, and we're going to talk about him in a little bit.
Cool. And?
I'm Dolores Rodriguez. I'm part-time receptionist and grew up here most of my life.
Great. Taryn, since you're watching, let me know how that volume is, so if I can make any adjustments, I can. Well, thank you so much, both of you, for being here. Before we get started, I'd like to thank our sponsor, welcoming our new sponsor. Today we're sponsored by Red Wing Shoes. They're located at 1413 Southwest Military Drive in San Antonio. The same family, same location since 1969. I have to say, really proud to have them a sponsor. Kenny is really great, and if you get a chance to visit, of course, you're going to be well taken care of. I want to say you can probably shop all makes and models of shoes. But anyway, I think you'll get a pretty good deal there, and he'll take care of you. So go visit Red Wing Shoes in San Antonio, and thank you for your sponsorship of this WCN Live. Okay, well the next, yes?
He's also in a band and has been known
Kenny.
to sing Elvis,
Yeah.
by
And
the
he's
way.
supposed to be joining us today, so hopefully we see Kenny. And also Red Wing Shoes is tagged in the description of this video, so you can check them out on social media if you want. And find their ad regularly every week in the Wilson County News. He has some really cute ads with messages, really keeps your spirits up. Yeah, Kenny, he's really good. Okay, well the next thing we're going to do before we start this exciting conversation about Elvis is I'm going to have one of you draw me a winner. Every time that we're on WCN Live, we ask you to post a comment to get your name in the mix so that on the next week's live we can possibly draw your name as a winner. But today's winner will receive a C Street gift shop gift bag. So would one of you please draw a name for me?
Is that one?
Yeah, it is. Okay. Well, congratulations to Michelle Schreiner. I believe Michelle is the one who makes the beautiful handbags we have in the front office at C Street.
Oh.
But I hope I'm correct. Anyway, congratulations, Michelle. I'll be reaching out to her, to you on Facebook Live soon. Facebook and Messenger in a little bit. And remember, thank you all for posting your comments, and welcome back. Hello, Sherry and Paula. We thank you for joining us. Really looking forward to the conversation. Pam can't wait for me to start. Anyway, did I say this is our first episode back in 2025? Okay, we're back. So, okay, let's start with introductions, guys. You said tell me a little bit about each of you, please.
I've been here almost 20 years. Previously taught for 32 years, retiring from East Central High School. Go Hornets! I have been an Elvis fan since, I don't even know, 3rd grade. I'm going to go with that. That's when Let Me Tender came out. So I think it goes back to then, and I'm turned 77 3 days ago. So it's been a while. I wanted to thank all of you for tuning in and hope that you get something out of this. It's not meant, yes, it's his birthday, 90 years today, but it's also an explanation about his life. Of course, I'm prejudiced, but I think if you listen to what we have to say today, that maybe some of your thoughts will change. I also wanted to mention that I would like this to be aimed at 3 different groups of people, and sort of we're represented here a little bit. One generation is my generation, which grew up loving him. And then there was the same generation, even though Dolores is younger than I am, that did not grow up necessarily with him and loving him, but has learned, maybe because of me a little bit, to love him. And then Kristen, who did pretty much grow up with him, her father Al was a big fan. In fact, the only other Elvis, performance episode that we've done on Facebook was with Al a few years back. But she does come from the younger generation who maybe only thinks of him as the overweight, the drug addict, that kind of thing, which I hope we can change today.
That's not what I think, but anyway.
Well, your generation.
There's probably many views on that. But Dolores, please introduce yourself, please.
I'm Dolores Rodriguez. I'm the receptionist part-time at the front desk. And I've been in the newspaper business all my life since I graduated from high school. But I did grow up with Elvis, and I used to love to go to his movies, which were 25 cents back then.
Ooh, okay.
But I think I saw most of them, and the ones that I didn't back then, I got older and found them and saw them anyway. But I was not really into him as far as like my idol or anything like that. But I did not think as much of him as I do now, thanks to Pam.
Very interesting. Yeah. Wow. Well, thank you for that. And so, so as you can tell, Pam and Dolores are fans of Elvis, and that doesn't really give it justice. There's a lot more to be said and maybe explained, but you maybe you already answered this question, and tell me if you did, what makes Elvis so special to you and why you are the fans you are today.
I have to go back, even though it's not real easy for me to go back to third grade. My mother died when I was in the third grade. And of course, I don't remember if Love Me Tender came out before or it came after. I don't know. But I do think that he was something I could turn to at 9 years old. What did I know about Elvis? I didn't know much of anything except that he was pretty darn cute. And but I think that is kind of a memory that I have. And to say that he was special, if there's a word that goes above that, I would use it. He was always taking care of people, and I think was part of his downfall, is that he didn't take care of himself.
It happens. And well, what about you and your different perspective? What makes you the fan that you are today? Why is he so special, even though he came to you differently?
Well, I think that what totally changed my mind was not his movie. It was a movie about him that came out, 2 or 3 years?
It came out in 23.
And of course, Pam and I went to see it. And because of that movie, I got a totally different perspective on his life and liked him a lot more. So, yeah.
Well, I'll just share a little, because we talked about, how we have our different perspectives and generations, and while he, he was gone the year before I was born, but I grew up with, my dad, who was a big Elvis fan, and I didn't necessarily look at him that way, but yeah, definitely his music and likings did affect me, but I would not see him as the overweight Elvis. I see him as this handsome, beautiful man right here, and the music being very beautiful. So I love music, and I don't think you could listen to him and not love the beauty of his voice and the different, ways that he presented his songs.
Well, I want to thank Kristen for that, because that was very nice.
Yeah, and the dancing comes secondary. I think of him as a musician more, and for the music, I love his music. Okay, so we're ready. Let's dive into the life of Elvis Presley. Dolores, tell me about what Elvis's life was like growing up.
Well, he was born in 1946.
35.
Sorry, 35. Reading it wrong. And he was born as a twin. He had a twin that was stillborn. So he was raised as an only child. And his twin's name was, or would have been, Jesse Garum.
Okay.
He was influenced a lot by black music, gospel music, and country music as he grew up. And he grew up following the Assembly of God Church. And in 1946, his mom buys him his first guitar, which made history, right?
Right. Wow.
And then in 1945, he had his first public appearance in Mississippi, Alabama Fair, and he got 5th place.
Okay, is that a little out of order?
Is it?
Okay, but I mean, like it is.
Oh,
So
yes.
for his first public appearance,
Sorry.
right?
It was me. I typed it.
Yeah.
Sorry.
and then he gets a guitar.
Yes.
So
And then he
he
gets
must have
the
started
guitar.
with the singing.
Yes.
Mhm,
Yes.
His voice.
And then in
Okay.
1948, they moved to Memphis, Tennessee. In 1953, a little bit after I was born, he graduated from Humes High School. And in 1956, he records his first record, My Happiness, and that's when Your Heartaches Begin, with Sun Records. In 1956, Colonel Tom Parker signs on, and that's when the heartaches begin.
Wow. Okay, so Pam, you're on. Tell us about the next few years and how, in this phase of Elvis's life, he makes it big.
I would start with the fact that he's been gone 47 and a half years. And some of you listening right now are probably not even that old. My daughter being one of them, who of course has grown up with him, and I can't say she's a big Elvis fan like I am, but my grandsons, I have forced them to know who he is. Forced in the right word. Anyway, he died when he was 42, and I know I'm going backwards into what Dolores was talking about, but he died when he was 42, and he had a heart attack, even though he was also addicted to drugs. But the fact that he really was only a star, if that's the right word, for 20 years. That's it. 20 years. And 48 years later, here we sit talking about him. And I know I'm not capitalizing him because that's only left for Jesus and God, but the impact of what he did is still around us, as witnessed by stuff on this table and stuff behind us. But anyway, some things that he accomplished. He has sold 1 billion records, which is more than any other artist to date. He made 33 films. Love Me Tender, I mentioned earlier, was his first one. The Ed Sullivan Show. Now, some of you not have any idea who Ed Sullivan was, but he had a entertainment show. I think it was on Sunday nights. It seems like it was. And the first time Elvis was on the show was like 57, something like that. They would not use the camera on him except for waist up because of his gyrations. And his nickname was Elvis the Pelvis. But that was part of it. That was part of him. And then as more instances came around with Ed Sullivan, I think Ed Sullivan said this is ridiculous, and they filmed him top to bottom. He had many specials on TV. One of them was from Hawaii, which was fabulous if you've never seen that one. Another one was when he was in the black leather jumpsuit, where he just performed on this little teeny stage with 3 or 4 other guitarists and not banjo, but anyway, other musicians, which was really good. And Las Vegas. I never saw him in Las Vegas. I have seen him at the Houston rodeo twice.
Okay.
But Las Vegas would have been something else. And why I never did do that, I regret that. 14 Grammy nominations, but he only won 3, and they were in the gospel music, which should tell everybody something. He was big into gospel. He was very influenced by black music and religion and the church. Now in 58 he joined the Army, which some people felt was going to be his downfall because he was going to be away from music and the public and that whatsoever. He was offered to be in the Special Forces, which would have meant he would have been going around entertaining the soldiers and having nice quarters and stuff like that. And he said, nope, I'm going to be a regular soldier. And so a lot of that was spent here in Texas and then in Germany. His mom died while he was in the service. His mother was an unbelievable influence on him. I think part of that was because he really, to her, was 2 people because he had been a twin. And she was very humble. They came from humble beginnings, dirt poor. I think maybe had dirt floors. And his father, the same. He wrote a hot check and was put in prison for a while, but got out, and all that influencing Elvis. He married Priscilla in 67. She had gone was in Germany. Her father was in the service, and they were like 12 or 13 years difference in age. She was very, very young, but who would turn Elvis down if he asked you to marry him?
Right.
Come on.
Oh,
They divorced in 73. They had 1 daughter, Lisa Marie, who passed away last year, which
23.
was pretty sad. He has 5 grandkids, one of which is pretty much running Elvis Presley Enterprises and keeping Graceland open. And if you've never been to Graceland, it's quite a trip. Now my thought was it was a lot smaller than what I would have imagined because he was so big, but it's a nice trip.
We went to Graceland some years ago.
Taryn and I went.
Yeah.
I don't know, Taryn, tell her how long.
But it was
several years ago.
Yeah.
And I had been in 97, and then we went, I think, in 05, 06, something like that. The Aloha from Hawaii special that I mentioned, 1.5 billion people watched that, and that was more than when we landed on the moon.
Wow.
Just saying. I kind of want to end with, in making his big efforts and what he did, he was a great philanthropist. He donated many millions of dollars to charities, helped friends out, bought new cars, just using his money, I'm going to say wisely. I don't think he used it ill-bound. And just let me throw this little aside in. We've mentioned, or I have a couple of times, him being a drug addict. A real live doctor of medicine prescribed all of his medicines, which doesn't make it right to get addicted, but he wasn't getting them off the black market. He was getting them from a real live guy and believing in him.
Yep. Wow, and Taryn, thank you for answering. She said you went in 97 and then maybe about 5 years ago.
Oh, has been
So
there,
you've been there twice.
Been there twice,
Cool.
yes.
Very cool. As you should be. That's about right. So Dolores, tell us about some of Elvis's accomplishments and awards.
Well, he had 5 Hall of Fame, or he was in the Hall of Fame 5 times.
Mm-hmm.
He had 150 albums and records. He went gold, platinum, multi-platinum as well. And most of his music was in the top 10 records. President Nixon gave him an Outstanding Man in America Presidential Medal of Freedom Award. And
Wow. Okay.
that's all of them, but that's a lot, you know.
It sure is. Yeah, it really does spell quite a life. Thank you for those who have been watching and joined us, and for your comments. I just want to read through some of these as we kind of we're nearing the end. But Sherry says that she loves Elvis, and many people commented about the movie and how that's what brought you to love him as a fan. She also liked the movie.
By the way, let me interrupt, Sherry. There is a second movie coming out by the same director, producer.
Okay.
His name is weird, and I'm not going to say it right. Baz Luhrmann. I'm not even going to try.
When do you think that will be coming out?
I don't know, but I've heard that
From the
there
same
is a
actor?
second one.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know.
Hopefully.
Austin
he will
Butler.
star.
Oh,
Right.
that's
She's
another
Great
story.
actor.
Another
Perfect.
story.
And Sharon says that her mother loved Elvis. Yes, so lots that we can all relate to with in common here around Elvis. Nanette says the same thing and loved the movie. Really revealed some things about his life that she didn't know. Genevieve Martinez shares that her grandmother loved Elvis, and now she celebrates with him in heaven. And today is her birthday, so happy birthday, Genevieve.
Oh,
Nice.
Cool.
Sherry says it's on her bucket list to go to Graceland, so we hope you make that bucket list happen. And just, Oh, look, Nanette said there have been fewer than 700 Presidential Medal of Freedom recipients, so that's quite an honor.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Dolores, now it's time to tell us about the end of Elvis's life. What can you say about that?
Well, the end was, of course, his addiction to the prescription drugs that he was prescribed. He got addicted to that, and then his weight gain. He was real conscious about that, right, ma'am? And then he never really got over his mom's death. And the biggest one, when Colonel Tom came on board with him.
Right, which we indicated that happened. That's when he went big. That's who helped him go big, but
A lot of downfall with that.
as well.
I sure didn't want to talk about him much because I don't want to give him any credit of any kind, but he was a foreigner and he came over here illegally, and he worked with some big names. I can't remember names right now, but he took 50% of everything Elvis made as an agent. 50%.
Wow.
And I do think Elvis thought he couldn't do it without him. I really do, and he could have. He was evil. Period.
That probably has happened to many other performers as well, that we can probably think that this situation can happen. Very sad. And what do you have to say about the Elvis movie, Dolores?
The Elvis movie opened my eyes about him because I had didn't really care much about him. And when he did pass away, I remember I lived in California when that happened, and my neighbor, she cried so much, and I was like, why? I didn't understand it, but the movie showed me how beautiful of a person he was, and I really think the world of him now, a lot more.
I don't know what's making me think of this, but Pam, have you read any good books about Elvis?
There's a lot of them.
Yeah. Anything that you might, and I'm totally catching you off guard, but
I mean, there's lots
maybe
of them.
y'all share if there's like a really good book you recommend to pick up and read about Elvis.
Like the
but-
cookbook. No,
Yeah.
I'm just teasing here, but anyway.
That's when someone talked about the cookbook.
Yes. I was thinking you realized it was there.
Cookbook was.
He liked
I'm not
to think.
answering Chris's
Yeah,
question,
the
but I was
cookbook's
going to
great.
say, we can just throw out a little
Sure.
funny thing. Peanut butter, banana, sandwiches. Fixed like a grilled cheese. Not with cheese, but fixed like a grilled cheese with butter in a pan. And if you've never had one,
Try it.
Now you can find that recipe.
it is in that cookbook right
this
there.
week's paper.
Oh,
Oh,
yes.
We did
really?
publish
Yes,
that.
yes,
So
yes.
yes, so we've given y'all a treat, you Wilson County News subscribers, but go check out section B, I believe on page 3. Kitchen Corner does share that recipe for
Yes, it is
Elvis
there.
Presley. What
Try
do you
it.
call it?
You'll
I'm
like
gonna
Elvis,
go
it.
home and make it.
what are they called? Elvis Presley peanut butter banana sandwiches?
Yeah, and now we've kind of added chocolate.
Which we're gonna get to, right?
Which is the cake, which we'll talk about in a
Right.
second.
Well,
I wanted to thank Kristen and Elaine for letting us do this, because normally, always, this is a session with some of our advertisers or some of the community leaders, that kind of thing, and this is way off that avenue. So I wanted to thank y'all for
90
doing
years,
this.
I think it definitely warrants another sit down and
Right.
always a good conversation. Yes, absolutely. You're welcome. So then, in conclusion, there is a song or a poem, and I need you guys to give me an explanation about that.
It's from a song. Don't ask me the name, because I should have looked that
Really,
up.
I was
but I
really
didn't.
hoping you were going to sing.
No, there's no singing. And really, he would say it
Okay.
at things. He didn't sing it.
Okay.
And I will have to read it because I don't have it memorized. It's very simple. Without a song, the world would never end. Without a song, a man ain't got a friend. Without a song, without a song, the road would never bend. Without a song. And I truly believe that he really believed that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're going to end with me lighting, maybe.
Get to light the cake, the candles on the cake. That is.
The
I have been
9-0.
smelling the chocolate this whole time. It smells amazing.
And saying that we want to say happy birthday to the King, and hope that y'all learned something from us today. Go see the movie.
Go see the
I'm
movie,
telling
yes.
you, if you haven't seen Austin Butler play Elvis, you haven't lived.
Right.
Period.
True, yes.
So
Well, we do hope you enjoyed celebrating the life of Elvis Presley with us today. And I thank you guys for all that you put into this and bringing some real fun today back on our first episode in 2025 of WCN Live. We thank you all for joining us. You can learn more information about WCN Live. Let me just put this plug. And actually view and scroll through all of our episodes at wilsoncountynews.com/WCN Live, as well, of course, as watching for it on Facebook. And always, we keep you updated in the Wilson County News for the topics that are discussed each week, so be sure to subscribe so you don't miss the news happening in your community. We want to thank Red Wing Shoes also for being our WCN Live sponsor today. Red Wing Shoes is located at 1413 Southwest Military Drive in San Antonio. The same family, the same location since 1969. Thank you, Kenny, for your sponsorship. Thank you again, all of you, for watching, and we look forward to being here again next week and each week after on Wednesday at 10 a.m. for WCN Live. So hope you join us. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Elvis.